Okay, so as we saw in the previous video, we're just gonna go to GitHub. This is a public repository where the installation, uninstallation, adding this application, the BACnet application as a service on the Raspberry Pi, and then removing that service if you want to if you want to remove it from the Pi at some point. So four scripts, um, and all we do is copy. You can get to this raw HTTPS URL from the project on GitHub, and then here, um, if you have wget, all you do is that, and it saves. You can see we have all four scripts there, and so all we do now is we want to go ahead and create that. Um, like we saw last time, we can create this organization via the REST API. Um, Name, email has to be unique. The org's name, I'm going to send that request as a 201. So we just created our org in the Kloudnuk web app. We've created an admin user, which can then create other users. Um, we can see that's the call that was made to the REST API service that's running on the cloud, and that's a 201 created. And here we can go to Postgres and we can see that that's been created. Oops, here we go. And we can see that that user get created, and that's the password hashed out. And those are the different classes under this database. So those are two Docker containers running on an EC2 instance. And this is the Raspberry Pi that I just SSH'd into. Right. So from here, we'd want to do install. Well, actually, right. So that's to make them executable. And now uh, it was device name. We'll call it test bench to look at device name, org name, username. There. Uh, Pretty sure that's what I entered. Yep. And oh, perfect. Well, of course, missed the .sh file extension. All right, here we go. Downloading version 15.0.0.15. Still beta. Alrighty, so uh, let's take a look at a couple of things that got installed in the home directory. So, um, perfect. So there's a BACnet client folder. There's a distribution file in there, and then a resource file, and these are all the files in there. So I have a cert PEM. These are all things that are required for the application to run, but the important thing there to look at is that local devices, local device ini. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but if you have something other than an orange pie, might need to make a quick change. So um, here's the label. So that's the test bench device name that we chose. Is the ID that gets created during the script while the script is running. Um, the interface that got picked up as connected by the script, the Ethernet one, and then the certificate path. So if the certificate path is not right, the app is going to fail, and DB name has to be the same as the organization that you picked. Um, and that's about it. So if again, you know, if your cert path is not doesn't match this, because you have a different user or something, then that might be something that you have to edit that cert path. Other than that, shouldn't have any problems. I want to double check that I have the cert. There's the cert.pem. So that cert got downloaded from the database, and it's a mutual, it's a client certificate to do mutual TLSing for the devices, the Raspberry Pis to connect directly to the service without user password required. So now I'm going to comment out these lines because they would take a long time to run, and I already have those packages installed. But if you don't have these packages or you're not sure, then you might want to run that. And so that this is the reason why I was failing last time, because the install has to run as a not sudo as your user, so that the Python application goes to the correct environment and all the files, file locations, and user permissions to those files are correct. But then to add the service into systemctl, which is what hopefully a Raspberry Pi device is running, um, that has to be run as a sudo. This is your username and group name, which is typically the same. So if it's the same, you don't have to add it, but just for the sake of making sure there are no issues. So this it now got installed. Um, we can confirm that our app is running. So our app is active and is running. Perfect. Now we can confirm um, that nothing's going into error and things are going to work out. This might take a little while, so I'm not sure if we're going to be able to see anything, but hopefully. It it could take up to 5 minutes. Um, so as the application runs, we'll start to get um, application logs populating that log. So far, so good. The idea, so I'm sure there's probably a way to optimize this. This is just a plain um, Orange Pi device picked up, um, mm, from the internet um, with the base Ubuntu image. Nothing special about it. In fact, I want to make sure that it was going to be um, uh, off the shelf, nothing particular about it. And there we go. We're getting some live um, messaging from the application. So the application, the BACnet client, runs a couple of asynchronous loops. Each loop is querying for a particular resource, um, or it's watching a particular resource. For example, that configuration file gets watched by the database, and we can use the REST API to make changes and edit the local file in the Raspberry Pi. So basically sending data back. Um, we can use that for command and control eventually as well. We implement some write backnet messages. But for now, it's just monitoring. So it looks like it picked up 3 devices. So we should probably be able to make a few calls. Doesn't look like we've got any points yet, but if we read all devices, oh, looks like I gotta have to update my stuff here. So, oh, interesting. That's interesting. Does it have to be these variables? Oh, it looks like it is. But I changed it here. Yeah, these are all the current. That's the IP address, that's the port. So this is current. Interesting. Oh, I got it. Yep, that's why. The, and that was different org name I was using before. Should probably stick to the same name so I don't have to guess. There we go. So we just got some device information here for the devices we picked up, the 3 devices we picked up on the network. Um, Here's the config. And these are all gets, but we're gonna have some posts for configs for sure. Again. Oh, hmm, nothing. I'm not gonna do logs right now because that's got that time range. That's for the last org I was working with, which no longer exists. But there's an example of that log working in a different video. Okay, so no points yet. All devices. So that's what was failing here. All right. So what do we have here? So it's doing some polling. Um, Might need to wait a little. Um, I wonder if there's something else I need to be doing here. Device configuration. Hmm. Well, the points will eventually come in, but this basically proves how fast you can start getting at least some data, um, and how basically you can remotely onboard an admin user and a new org, and then create a connection between your database cloud service and a local device pulling local data, and how you can take that local data in a BACnet protocol and you can convert it to a JSON format, right? A JSON schema, and wrap it inside an HTTPS message and secure it, right, with a client certificate. And it's all bundled. It's pretty automated. Maybe a few quirks. Not sure why. I must be missing something here that I forgot. But interesting. I think we should be getting something by now. Definitely was expecting to get device configuration. Just a parameter. Oh, already. Well, I think that about covers it for today. Thank you for watching, and thank you for sticking to the end if you did. And I'll keep trying to put out more demos and see some errors here. Um, but maybe I'll do a demo of what finally happened here when we finally got some point information. All right, thank you for sticking around. And these were all the calls we were making, by the way, just a minute ago, and how the web server picks up and responds, and it's looking at credentials and all that. Now the point data and the application data, like BACnet data, that's not going to Postgres SQL database, let's go into a NoSQL database. But device information, all that is going here. So thank you for watching.